of course. They come with you get a certificate. They send you the box later with a certificate of authenticity. Oh, yeah. Oh, and by the way, that's your money, too.
Yeah, that's not cheap to customize
pens.
every single. No. I mean, because it's not like they're customizing 10,000 at a penny a piece.
No, these are not penny a piece pens either. I think these are nice Tiffany pens or something.
Well, Tiffany, probably not Tiffany.
Why not?
Anyway,
Noob Cage.
I don't know. You've even make a pen?
Yes. You've never heard of the Tiffany pen tap?
The Tiffany pen tap?
Yes. This is wow. Maybe it's not a thing anymore.
White House?
No, the Tiffany pen tap is in a boardroom when everyone's in agreement. They take their Tiffany pens and they all tap on the. You've never heard this phrase?
Never.
Huh. Yeah. So while this was taking place, and we can certainly do more, but I would like to just switch over briefly to the other screen. The president was announcing and subsequently signing with pens his deal with China, which is really one thing and one thing only. I have Mnuchin here to explain it. He was on Lou Dobbs. I cut Lou Dobbs out. Lou Dobbs talks 3 times as much in the interview as Mnuchin. It's unbelievable how boring that guy is.
He likes to talk.
So really what it is we've already leveled out the trade deficit. China has, I think it was already announced that they agreed to acquire $50 billion worth of farm goods from us. I think that was already that was known. It's probably baked into all the numbers, and that's over, I believe, a 2-year term. There have been some changes to the forced technology transfer, intellectual property, which really isn't important. As Mnuchin says here, it's all about the accountability.
There's a very detailed dispute resolution process. This is an enforceable agreement, just as the president dictated it would be. There were 2 issues here. One was he wanted to reduce the trade deficit, and 2, he wanted structural changes, particularly around forced technology and other issues. So this is an additional $200 billion, which is very significant. And specifically, and for our farmers, there'll be $40 to $50 billion annually of purchases. So this is a great win for American business and American farmers. And I do think this can be good for China. China has 1.35 billion people. They got a large growing middle class. And if our companies can compete fairly selling things to that middle class, that's a huge growing market for our workers.
I love what he says here, because he starts off by saying, this is a big win for the Chinese people because it's good for our workers. Listen to this nidnook.
Well, they got a large growing middle class. And if our companies can...
Wait, let me go back a little bit here. Where was it?
In business and American farmers. And I do think this can be good for China. China has 1.35 billion people. They got a large growing middle class. And if our companies can compete fairly selling things to that middle class, that's a huge growing market for our workers.
I don't see how it benefits China, but okay.
And the agreement is a precondition, if you will, to this phase 1 to relieve the Chinese of the currency manipulator status that actually you penned on them.
Well, the only reason why we changed that is because there's a chapter in this agreement on currencies and foreign exchange. It's fully enforceable. There's very strict commitments that they will not manipulate their currency going forward. And as a result of that, we got comfortable lifting the designation. But like every other part of this agreement, that'll be an enforceable chapter going forward.
So since the mainstream will not pay any attention to this or explain it at all, they'll just go, blah, 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 blah. The phase 1 is really not that much of a big deal. However, it's an enforceable agreement with triggers so that if China doesn't follow the basic tenets of the agreement, then we can call them out. There's, it'll be very clear, and then we probably start nuking them or something. I don't know. But this is not a very important deal for the details. It's important for the process going forward that we have agreements that we know that people will abide by them. And that's really it. They could have at least...
Well, you can stop. Don't start saying going forward. He said it too many times already.
Oh, well, exactly, because there's nothing. There's really nothing in there. The only thing is it sets the ground rules so that, I guess in modern parlance, we can call them out. And, and then reverse everything and pile the sanctions back on, whatever. But I think they want to do a deal. It would make sense. They want to do something.
Well, everybody wants to do something.
Everybody wants to do something.
I don't know what's going to come of this. But it's at least he's giving us some lip service. Nobody else ever did.
Yes.
Time went on forever without anybody even paying any attention to the fact that we're losing all our jobs, that factories are moving overseas, and everyone was making a lot of money except the American worker.
Yes, thank you.
Which is why they voted for Trump.
Yes,
that's why they're going to keep voting for Trump. I don't see the Democrats sucking them back in.
Don't worry, John. You have your spot at the convention. You'll get it. It's fine. We get your message.
I need it.
You got your spot, bro. It's all cool. Now, last night, kind of on the cusp, or yesterday, really it started yesterday, big news breaking. I guess they found extra people and documents just before they transmitted the articles of impeachment. And all of a sudden, Lev Parnas, who used to be Trump's guy, is doing an interview with Rachel Maddow. Oh, this was fun. And I really tried to understand, because, late in the game for show prep, really trying to understand exactly what is at issue. Apparently, there's a new character, this Floyd guy.
This guy worked for Giuliani.
Well, no, that's the Lev Parnas guy. He worked for Giuliani.
Floyd is.
Well, that's important because Floyd is one of these guys who shows up at a lot of Trump events, much like many people, because he donates a lot of money. I think he's donated $55,000 to the America First Super PAC, which is where this Lev Parnas guy, he donated $350,000, but he did it through a shell company, which is why he's indicted, and rightfully so, because you can't have foreign money coming in, even though we know how it's done, usually credit cards, and everyone's doing it.
You gotta do it the right way.
So Parnas has WhatsApp messages that have been released. I'm not quite sure if they went through how they've been released or if it's part of the grand jury. And I don't know what it is, but Rachel Maddow has them. And there it's very clear that he's texting with this Floyd character, and the Floyd character is saying stuff like, okay, man, yeah, well, we've got the ambassador in our purview. We see what she's doing. We've got her under surveillance. Okay, she's no longer on her phone. She's turned off her computer. So she's in her house. She's not online. These kinds of messages going back and forth. This was tied back to part of the transcript, if I understand it correctly, from the call with Trump and the president of Ukraine, where Trump says, I'm paraphrasing, well, she's going to go through a lot of trouble herself, referring to the ambassador. And that was, in conspiratorial circles, taken as, oh my God, he was talking about taking a hit out on her. Then there's this Floyd guy who's surveilling her and knows apparently when her phone is on or when her computer's on, they were trying to take her out. They were trying to kill her. And if you remember, she was called back to the United States because there was a fear for her security. So now all of a sudden we have escalated this corruption by Trump, as alleged, into a hit job by Trump. And then the guy who's under indictment for election campaign contribution fraud, he all of a sudden decides, well, I'm going to be a good guy. I'm going to go talk to Rachel Maddow about everything. And so I had to because she published everything this morning, or maybe late last night, online. And this Floyd character is a guy that, so apparently the Trump Hotel, and this makes total sense, in D.C., it's kind of like the bar from Star Wars. There's a whole bunch of unsavory characters. Everyone's hanging around in the bar, in the lobby, and DC is very much like this anyways. No different from Hollywood. People hang out at the Four Seasons Hotel bar, and they, oh, hey, I see, hey, is Bobby De Niro over there? And so you can talk about it. You might bump into him. Might say this is where most of the business is done. It's where all the lobbyists are, and of course, the Trump Hotel in DC has got to be an unbelievable seething pit of Republicans and hangers-on mainly. That's the thing. So this Floyd guy, he's got money, he's handing it out, so you get invited to stuff, and he's talking to people, and apparently he now had, through his contacts in Ukraine, had the ambassador under surveillance, and he's texting back and forth with Lev Parnas. And here's Rachel's interview with him, specifically talking about this frightening individual.
Why did those exchanges happen? What was he trying to tell you?
Well, I don't believe it's true. I think he was either drunk or he's was trying to make himself bigger than it was. So I didn't take it seriously, and I was trying to. If you see, I didn't even respond to him most of the time. And if I did, it was like something like LOL or okay or great or something like that, just because I wouldn't respond for a long time, and then I didn't want him to get rowdy if I saw him next time and say, "Oh, why didn't you type a response?" So I would just amuse him until eventually, as you could see, I cut him off.
Well, the texts where he was supposedly reporting on the whereabouts of the ambassador went on for a week. I mean, it wasn't like one drunk night. This went for 7 days. Well, he couldn't have been drunk the whole time.
No, he's drunk all the whole time. he wakes up and he's drunk. He starts at 6. I've never seen him.
This, by the way, is not what Rachel wanted to hear. She did not want to hear the guy is a total lunatic. He's drunk at 6 in the morning until late at night. But we'll continue.
Not drunk.
So you thought that this was him making it up. You didn't believe he actually had the ambassador under surveillance?
No, absolutely not.
I asked Mr. Parnas several times over the course of our interview if those text messages from Robert Hyde indicated a real threat to Ambassador Yovanovitch. I asked him about it as many different angles I could come up with. I was insistent in asking. He was adamant in his response.
This is Rachel covering for herself, because what she doesn't want...
This is really bad.
Yeah, what she doesn't want is Twitter exploding and saying, "You didn't ask hard enough, you didn't push, you didn't get no follow-up questions, you suck." Something like that. It was totally her covering her ass, and it's honestly...
Go down.
Yeah, of course. It was sad. It's sad that she did that. She should have just not aired it at all.
She's not very good at what she does.
And this was not in the studio. This was at, I think, the guy's lawyer's office, so she was a little bit out of her element. But that's how important the story was to her. Because she's like, I can't believe, I thought they were going to kill her. They were going to kill her. It was under surveillance. Now the guy's just a drunk lunatic. Let's hear that again. I asked many different words. I
asked Mr. Parnas several times over the course of our interview if those text messages from Robert Hyde indicated a real threat to Ambassador Yovanovitch. I asked him about...
By the way, I said Floyd, but it's Hyde, so I made a mistake.
As many different angles I could come up with. I was insistent in asking. He was adamant in his response. So it's clear that you didn't take Mr. Hyde seriously in terms of the factual claims that he was making, but are you clear on whether or not there was ever an actual physical threat or a threat of personal intimidation against Ambassador Yovanovitch?
Never from my side or anybody I know.
You didn't worry that she was actually in physical danger?
Never.
Because you didn't believe Mr. Hyde?
No, definitely didn't believe Mr. Hyde, though.
Okay, so that was kind of a bummer. But the guy did say something which I think rings true and is very plausible.
So after certain instances, Trump was supposed to meet him, President Trump was supposed to meet Zelensky in Poland himself. But then he used the excuse of the hurricane, but it wasn't because of the hurricane, it was because he was angry that Zelensky still didn't make any attempt or effort to make any announcement before he was going to meet him. And he
How do you know that was an excuse and that wasn't the real reason?
Because I spoke to Rudy. Rudy would talk to me. We spoke about this every day. I mean, everything that was going on was discussed between me, Victoria, Rudy, the team.
So President Trump is supposed to go. He decides not to go. Vice President Pence will go instead.
He sends him instead, yeah. And basically, he was supposed to go there and get it straightened out that Zelensky was supposed to make another announcement. And that didn't happen. And that's when Secretary Bolton went over there, and I think he has a lot to say. I'm not going to talk on this, but I think he's a key witness to his conversation with Zelensky when he came back and why he left or got fired or however you want to look at that.
Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. When Vice President Pence went over there on September 1st, again in President Trump's stead, you believe or you have reason to believe, that Vice President Pence was tasked at that meeting with getting President Zelensky to announce investigations of Joe Biden specifically.
Yes.
And to tell him that they wouldn't get their aid until they...
I don't know exactly what he was, but it was all... It's all
the investigation.
So, like I said, the aid itself was something that I think the president decided to do, but it was, I think, a reaction to that there was no announcement being made after so many attempts and so many promises.
So holding the aid was the president's own sort of innovation to add to the leverage, to add to the pressure that people like you and the vice president and Mr. Giuliani and everybody else involved in this effort was putting on the Ukrainian government.
Correct.
So Rachel's leading the witness at the end. But the first part, that rings true to me. I think it was Pence's job to go and get them an announcement. I think he messed it up. And for that reason alone, maybe, he will not be on the ticket. I'm predicting it right now. He will resign. Someone else is going to be on the vice presidential ticket for Trump. I think he screwed up royally there, especially because it's now coming out.
Well, after those clips, I should reiterate the ban on Rachel Maddow clips.
Yeah,
so unexciting. These clips are boring.
Yeah, but this, we do have to play something.
Let's just take a look at that one issue. Has this guy ever talked to the president? No. Has the guy ever met the president? Doubtful. The guy's a Rudy Giuliani, fixer, and works for Giuliani. I don't know. This seems like it could be just all a lot of thin air to me. I'm not convinced about any of it.
Oh, there's no proof of anything.
That's not a bag man.
No, I think he is a bag man. I think he's the perfect bag man because he doesn't look or act like one. I think he is a bag man. And I think he screwed this one up. And write it down in the book. He won't be on the ticket. He will not be on the ticket. Did you have the book? Are you writing it down in the book? You got a book, a red book? Is it in the book?
Jeez. Let me get a book.
Oh, God.
No, I gave up on the red book some time ago, but I'm going to write this one down in this particular ledger. What is today's date?
Today is the 16th of January, 2020, and while you're doing that, I would like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in the crackpot cocaine, concede the vote.
Yeah, hold on a second while I write this in the book.
You still writing?
Yeah, I'm writing by hand. I got to put details in here.
What day is it?
What day is it? It's the 16th. What do you think? Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Also in the morning to ships and sea boots, telegraphy in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
In the morning to our trolls in the troll room, who you can find, and not just find, but join at noagendastream.com. It is where people hang out. It is where they hang out to be with each other, to chat about the shows that are playing. They find shows, listen to shows. Shows are live as they're recorded for podcasts. You can subscribe to shows, and I've made it my mission for 2020. I'm going to upgrade noagendastream.com. I'm very excited. Got a lot of ideas. A lot of people willing to pitch in and help. So, hello, trolls. Thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for inspiring me. And trolling. NoAgendaStream.com. Also, in the morning to our artist who brought us the artwork for episode 1207. Ooh. Is my site down? Oh, my goodness. We're down.
Whoa! Woo!
This is actually problematic. Whoa, that's dangerous. Hold on a second, because we may not be able to... No? Wow, that's really weird. Is it like Amazon? Amazon can't be down.
Sure. Amazon could be down. Could be sabotaged by Microsoft.
NAShownotes.com refusing to connect. Wow. That's weird.
Did you pay your Amazon bill?
Yes, and a hefty one it is at that. It's okay, because we can still say that the title of that episode was Imminent Threat. It's an imminent threat, and the artwork was brought to us by NetNed, as we looked for a number we looked through a number of different pieces of artwork, and this was the Podcasting is Addictive as Cocaine, with a little kid with the Oreos.
Yeah, it was great.
And There really wasn't anything else. I mean, the one we both liked.
No, we had to go to the Evergreens to find that.
No, was that an Evergreen? Yeah, it was an Evergreen.
Yeah.
The one we liked was Cesium 137 did one with a $33 bill with AOC on it, Sandy OC. And we liked that a lot, but he had used such a crappy overlay.
Yeah, he needed to do an original overlay.
Yeah, just had if he had. I mean, seriously, maybe 15 minutes of extra work would have nailed it, because the idea was good, execution up until it was just. There's no way we could use it; it wouldn't pop. A lot of Meghan Markle stuff, a lot of obscure jokes, but that was really the best one. Yeah, I don't think there was any other contender, which is why we had to go to Evergreens. But it doesn't matter, because every show is a new opportunity for artists to show off their wares. It's another opportunity for us to get a great piece of art, which we appreciate very much. And you can find all of that or upload your own at noagendaartgenerator.com. And thank you very much, Ned, for helping us with an image that popped. Really made the difference. noagendaartgenerator.com.
And we do have a few people to thank as producers, associate executive producers and executive producers for show 1208. Right?
Yes, 1208.
Craig Martin is at the top of the list at Phoenix, Arizona, $500. Hi, John and Adam. The $500 donation puts me over the top for my knighthood. Please knight me as knight north to south.
All right.
Recently moved from Fairbanks, Alaska, north, to Phoenix, south, Arizona. Hence the name, north to south. I love your show and never miss an episode. Your show has made me skeptical of virtually everything. Virtually everything I hear on the media, that is.
Yes.
So thanks for that. My life is so much simpler before. Wait.
It's supposed to be an improvement. It's supposed to be an improvement. What are we doing wrong?
Recently, one of my favorite dogs, Yuck. One of my dogs, Yuck, was diagnosed with bone cancer.
Yeah.
If there was one thing that can beat this, it's her. But I would appreciate dogs are people too, and fuck cancer jingles. I would also like the same. I would like some racehorse karma. Oh, brother.
Racehorse karma?
Yeah, he owns a horse. It's running in. He wants a simpler life. You own a racehorse?
Wow.
It's running the stakes race on Saturday in Santa Anita.
Wow.
Her name is Fast Enough. Let's hope he's first. If this works, just imagine the new revenue for you. We have made a point of not doing karma for football teams.
No, we don't.
Teams.
No. Now, this is a little different. It's his horse.
In the case of a horse race.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's for the horse's health. I think we should. It'll be allowed. But only if you own the horse.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a new rule.
That's the difference. It's you're rooting for your local team. You don't own the team. It's not any part of your home or business. But if you own the horse, I think it's allowable.
Yes. And but we don't have horse karma, so we'll substitute with a side of goat.
Dogs are people too. You've got karma.
Let us know how it turned out. Sir Kevin McLaughlin, Earl of Luna, $349.97. Jingle request, health and jobs karma for all the producers. Swazant Nuf karma boobs. Thank you, Adam and John, for the. I guess there's a bunch of. I don't know what that is. All that they suggested. Thank you, John and Adam, for the excellent work you do to help our amygdala stay healthy and small. Today's donation of $349.97 is 5 small donations rolled up into one. Boobs 8008, lopsided boobs 8006, small boobs 6006, small lopsided boobs 6008, and Swazant Nuf Karma 6969. Sir Kevin McLaughlin.
Earl of Luna. He loves boobs.
I believe completely in the First Amendment and in boobs.
Then I saw her boobs. Now I'm a believer.
Because I like boobs?
69, dudes.
You've got karma.
I forgot about that clip. That was the Brooke Baldwin show on CNN, I believe.
Yeah, as the guy from the Barstool Sports, I think, isn't it?
I can't remember, but he loves
so.
boobs, and she was so offended. Find that clip. It's a very funny clip. John Benson, 33333 from Fort Mill, South Carolina. We have a pretty good list today.
Yeah. And
came out after we told him we needed some more help than last time. Hey, John and Adam, after being hit in the mouth a month ago by my friend Richard, I'm finally making a donation to the best podcast in the universe and humbly request de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
I'll be at the Charlotte meetup on Friday. Can't wait. It's like a party. Thanks for all you guys do, and if you have time, please play the following jingles. Pastor Manning, Kellyanne Conway, Money Shot. Alex Jones, Babies Growing in Cows. And 3, can you see the juice? Regardless.
That's a show enough money shot. Woo, Jesus. Woo, Lord. Look at that. That's a money shot. Kellyanne Conway is a money shot.
Well, I'll admit it, too. I mean, when they're talking about nuking and the president saying fire and fury, I'm kind of running around there, stay around the office. I mean,
Wow, this is the longer clip.
like a chicken, I mean, that's what happened.
We love you for that. I'm going to play this because I don't remember this whole. It's only 20 seconds.
You guys are worse than I am.
For 25 years, I've been blowing babies and cows.
Oh, my gosh. Can you see that juice?
I don't know if that was me or Jones.
No idea. I never heard it before.
Babies in cows. I prepped this segment. I tried.
Well, give him his karma.
Oh, did he want a karma?
Well, I would give it to him.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought we were supposed to request karma.
You've got
changing the damn rules.
De-douching.
We gave him the de-douching.
Karma constantly.
John, his name is John Benson. He didn't ask for a de-douching and did. Oh, he did. And we gave him the de-douching. He didn't ask for karma, and you keep telling me no karma unless requested.
I would like to document that. That is not true. I said no de-douching unless requested. You cannot find a documentation for what you just asserted.
That's possibly true. I may be incorrect.
Julie McNeil's next on the list, along with our big list of executive producers, because we throw out karma all the time.
Hey! I said I may be incorrect. You don't need to rub it in.
Julie McNeil, 33333, St. Gabriel, Louisiana. Nice little town there. Gentlemen. So this is, by the way, I want to point this out. This is one of the problems I'll have with these. When you have these two notes that are both colored, I can see reading into the next one. Gentlemen, I'm in closing at 333 on behalf of my smoking hot wife, Julie, who's Wait, hold on. Who is this?
I'm not talking anymore because, I'll just be called out as wrong.
Julie, this donation is from Julie, but apparently Adam managed to swap it out because it was a donation on her husband making a donation on behalf of his smoking hot wife, Julie, whose birthday is on the 16th.
There you go.
By my calculation, this amount should secure her a spot at the round table.
Nice.
I hit her in the mouth years ago, and normally doesn't do that. I hit her in the mouth years ago, and she has been a fanatical listener ever since. I would like to request the title Dame Julie of Grand Isle, Louisiana, if this is not already taken. Let me look on the list.
I don't think that's taken. No,
it's not on here, so she can have it. I would like to call out our friend John in Lafayette, Louisiana, for being an utter douchebag. Utter douchebag. And I'd like to make a special request that you play for her anything with CNN correspondent Al Sharpton in it.
Well, it's
MSNBC.
MSNBC, yes.
Not CNN. CNN is not that bad. The more, the better. Keep the fantastic work, Julie's husband.
In St. Gabriel, Louisiana. Okay, Shorty.
R-E-S-P-I-C-T.
And thank you, and we'll see Julie, your smoking hot wife, at the round table later on.
Luke Bixler in Charlotte, North Carolina, also 33333, and also with a complaint. Forgive me, Podfathers, I have sinned. It's been years long listener. I've been a years-long listener of the show. Yet, this is my first donation, and such I humbly request a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
In insert generic but heartfelt platitudes about amygdala size and relative sanity here. I just ended a career in the military and feels I have absorbed some residual jobs and house karma. As my transition to the private sector was fairly painless, and I feel I've made a soft landing, I'd like to return said jobs, the original Nancy and house karma of the goat variety, if you please, back into the ecosystem. Over the past months, I hit both my pal Randy and my smoking hot girlfriend in the mouth, and would like to call out both, in other words, a double, as douchebags. Douchebag. Looking forward to meeting the fellow Charlotte slaves tomorrow at the meetup.
I think that's today, actually.